Good morning. This is Press Talk on Television Nigeria, and I'm Victor Tehemba. And as usual, Press Talk is where we discuss some of the topical issues that have made headlines within the last 24 hours and happening currently. And as usual, I have the usual suspects in the studio with me to discuss Press Talk today. And just by my right is Mr. Dan Atai. Good morning.
Welcome. Thank
okay,
you.
you're laughing because I say usual suspect.
Usual suspect.
And by my far right is Comrade Silvanus Okwe. You're welcome.
Thank you,
Press Talk.
Thank you.
All right. So today on Press Talk, we have a couple of issues that we will try to discuss, analyze this issue, and see the implications and effects of these topics. And then we have that first on our list is the court order that the court has ordered the suspension of Operation Positive Identification. The court has ordered the Nigerian Army to suspend for now the Operation Positive Identification that the Army had planned to carry out earlier this month across in some states of the nation in a bid to eradicate the nation of bandits, terrorists, and all of that. Now I'm going to start off with Silvanus as, okay, permit me to say legal luminary because of the way you dish out some of the legal terms here. So I want to ask you that, is it in order that the court will ask the Nigerian Army to suspend that operation for now?
Well, the court has the powers of judicial review. That means it can declare null and void any action of any institution in Nigeria if it is not within the purview of the law. And in this case, Femi Falana, a human rights activist, brought this case before the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja, challenging the intentions of the Nigerian Army to carry out an operation they tagged Operation Positive Identification. And the court, on hearing the ex parte motion, gave the injunction that the Nigerian Army should suspend that exercise until the determination of the suit. What this translates, we practice constitutional democracy, where we expect every strata of the nation to obey the law. In a constitutional democracy, constitutionalism is upheld, and constitutionalism means the constitution is superior to any institution. But then, I think when the case will come for the real proceeding will come up, because it's just to suspend this exercise while they hear the main petition. So when it will come up, I expect the court to take into consideration the exceptions to the rights of Nigeria under the same constitution. Because in the event of national security, in the event of, in order to have public order, and in order to prosecute public policy, some rights of individuals are suspended. These were the exceptions to our fundamental human rights in the chapter 4 of the Constitution, and this was provided in section 45 of the Constitution. Our rights have limits.
So our rights have limits. Now you said that our rights could be suspended in some national interest. Now looking at the overall operation of this OPI, Mr. Dan, I'm coming to you. Looking at the overall operation of this OPI and its implication, you think it is sufficient enough for us to suspend the rights of citizens for that period that the Army are going to going to carry out this operation?
First of all, the Army have come out to make it clear to Nigerians, especially, that it is not operation targeted at all Nigerians. It's a section of the country, region of the country where,
like the northeast,
the northeastern region, where the terrorists, some of the bandits and the terrorists are coming in from Niger, Chad, and the rest, and then sometimes they will say they are Chadians. You, who are you? I'm a Chadian. You, who are you? I'm a Nigerian. So it is confusing to differentiate who is now a Boko Haram. You are found among Boko Haram territory, and you are a suspect. So the Army came out to say that, okay, what will help in this matter? They have to identify who is really a Nigerian. You understand? Within that region, it is targeted at a particular section or a group of persons.
But because it's targeted at a particular section of the country, does it also
and
make
group of persons?
And group of persons. Now, when you talk about group of persons, is it that they will go targeting the Boko Haram members and ask them to identify themselves?
Yes, there are. When lawlessness take place in a place, you pick up everybody, and you want to differentiate who is who among those, who did this, who did that, and who are you, where are you coming from. The issue of terrorism is a security matter, and Falana have sued, and the army came out to clear the air that before even Falana went to court, that this particular OPI is not targeted at Nigerians. You understand? And I wouldn't want to go detail into it because the matter is already before the court of law.
But the matter is already in the court.
The
I
court
don't think
will define.
we are parties to the case. So I believe we have the right to talk about it.
We don't have the right to talk about a case in court. It amounts to sub judice.
Okay, so now looking at
they'll come out and they'll clear it to us.
The major concern of the whole OPI and what also concerned Femi Falana was the fact that it's going to infringe on the rights
fundamental
of
human
Nigerians.
rights, especially.
So now you said that this operation is restricted to a particular section of the country for a particular people.
The army even did say that it might extend to other sections of the country,
so
depending on its sources in the north.
And I gave that advice the other time we flogged on this very issue. I said if the army are coming out to do an OPI, they have to do it within the ambit of the law, and not only that, they also have to give cognizance to the rule of respect to human rights.
Now,
I also gave analysis on this very stage, on this press talk, that I proffer that the army should also ensure that at their back end they have everything logistics to prove who is a Nigerian in terms of argument. So they have to carry their biodata machines. So
see the issue before the court. The parents' law, the law that created the Nigerian army, does it give them the power to ask Nigerians to bring out their any identification, any form of identification like ID card, voters card? Do they have that power? You know, when you act, there's what we call extra-constitutional action. When you act outside the purview of the Constitution, your actions amount to what we call ultra-virus, the law. It becomes ultra-virus, the law. It is the powers of the immigration services there. They have the powers to check who is coming and who is going out, the identification. The Nigerian police is there as to the powers of stop and search. And this is a very limited power on the part of the police. So now, on what grounds is the army taking up this action targeted at civilians? You know that the main function of the Nigerian army is to protect the territorial integrity, the territory of Nigeria. So coming into this now amounts to ultra-virus, the action becomes ultra-virus because the law creating the Nigerian army did not empower them to carry out such actions. It was on that basis that the court suspended it. And I think the argument is very germane because if you should even do that, is a laudable policy, but then let the appropriate institution charged with the constitutional responsibilities to do that take over.
We've had situations, cases of institutions overlapping their duties, like doing what they are not supposed to do. Yes. So we could find like the Nigerian police, for example, we stop a car and ask you for your driver's license, your car particulars, and all of that. Now, but nobody has ever taken an exception to these. Like, it's unconstitutional.
If you stand on your right, you see them running away. Once you stand on your right, and no, you don't have the right to do this, they will run away.
In this case now, if Femi Falana had not gone to court, and I know my rights and I know the Constitution, I know what it provides, that the army are not supposed to ask me for a positive identification, to ask me for any means of identification, and then they stop me, and I stand on my right that no, you don't have the right, not by the Constitution, not by the act that established the Nigerian military. Would they listen to me?
The thing is, the law even gave you the power. When you suspect that your rights is about to be violated, you can go to court and say, no, please stop these people, restrain them from future action, attempting to violate my right. If you go to court, they will listen to you. The court is there for every common man to walk in and establish his or her rights.
And like I said again, let me add this. If you are talking about human rights, in a state where, like my co-discussant said, the army have been constitutionally empowered to safeguard the sovereignty of the nation, and to make sure the integrity, territorial integrity is maintained, apart from sovereignty. Yeah. It entails security, not only to lives and properties, against insurgents. Insurgents means maybe coming from wherever. You understand? So if the army, within that constitutional power bestowed on them, see that insurgents are coming in and they are not Nigerians, and they target this operation towards that jurisdiction, I think they are right.
I think what they should have done in that process is to safeguard the border.
Yes.
Okay. Because what the constitution gave them the power is external aggression, not internal.
Yes.
You don't come to Northeast and disrupt.
We have not gone to the territory where I and you are bloody civilians. We have not gone to that area where these things are happening. And even Falana himself have never dared to go there. So the army will explain to the court, since it is a judicial issue now. Okay, so we'll explain to the court on why they are saying that.
From your points so far, you're trying to make it clear that it's as a result of foreigners who might be tagged insurgents coming in from across. So don't think that this policy is going to be discriminating against people who are not Nigerians who come from there, because definitely we have Chadians and
you have no
Nigerians.
right being in Nigeria if you are not a Nigerian, and if you are in Nigeria, you have to be in Nigeria legally. Simple.
Okay, so
what you know that under ECOWAS charter, you can be in Nigeria for 90 days.
90 days, yes. But ECOWAS still have provision to tag you that yes, you are you came here on ECOWAS ground. Yes. Because you are not just roaming and saying in the name of ECOWAS you came in the name. You must have proof that you came in the name of ECOWAS.
Okay, so maybe we might have so many questions coming out that might not have ready-made answers now. But we'll move on to the next issue on our plate today, and that's the fact. I don't know. The federal government has directed the NCC to find ways to reduce the cost of data. How do you like that news?
It is a lauded one.
So if
you ask me, I can go on and on and on over that matter. As a matter of fact, the providers, our network providers, and the giants of communications, like the MTN, the Glo, the Airtel, the Etisalat, and so on. Apart from, I wouldn't want to give credit to any network, because all of them, they have violated our fundamental right of communication. Nigerians actually don't know where and how to cry about these anomalies. They abound. Load Glo now. Subscribe Glo of maybe 2,000 naira. They'll give you maybe 2,000 megabytes. And they will even Glo will send you text message and say, this data will last you for a month, a period of 1 month. They wouldn't give you the condition attached that surfing the internet, it is possible under data analysis as an engineer that you create data byte according to the particular data you use. Data could be used as graphics, data could be used as photos, data could be used as motions, data could be used as tests, hypertext transport protocols. Now, and each stream of data in the way it is programmed have particular amount it takes. From 5 megabytes per second to 10 megabytes per second to 15 megabytes per second And the user have the right to know
how it's been spent.
Yeah, how it's been spent, how it's been used. In a situation whereby you have data, you are confident that you are not even roaming. Sometimes you off your data. The next thing you on your data, everything is gone because you have nowhere to complain.
So, but I want to flash back. I remember like sometime in 2014, before 2014, we used to be on data subscription unlimited for a month. So I remember that on my network, if I subscribe for like 1,000 naira a month or 1.5, it lasts me the entire month.
The entire month.
Now in that 2014, so that they now started allocating 3 gigabytes per month, and the explanation was that the NCC had asked them to stop the unlimited data. That data is too cheap in Nigeria.
Hold on,
this
please.
is where I come in.
Okay.
You know, while I will laud the government for this pro-people policy, I'll say that it is long overdue.
Very, very.
Because the issue is, it is only in Nigeria that they cheat users, consumers of telecommunication products. Only in Nigeria. If you go to Ghana, you can buy 2 CDs, data 2. But can you buy 2 naira, even 15 naira?
You can't dare it.
The way they cheat us in Nigeria on all fronts, even the DSTV. It's not just that.
Honestly.
Is it the same way they subscribe to TV in South Africa?
Never.
No.
Never.
But the amount our government take everything for a go. They don't react. They don't safeguard the people. Okay, you just mentioned now that NCC told them that. Do you know how all this Senate Committee on Communications, they will go MTN, will give them money. If there was an allegation, though unsubstantiated in law, that Abakari collected 500 million from MTN so that they will stop paying that billions of naira that was imposed on them as a fine. You understand? So Nigerian government, they go on and on selling the citizens. They don't think about us. All they think about is their pockets. If this will be implemented, it will be the best. It is high time they stopped taking everything. Let them try as much as possible to safeguard the rights of the consumers. Yes. I did consumer law, and they understand as a consumer, you have the right to enjoy full services for anything you pay for. And this we are not doing as far as data is concerned. I subscribe for 1 month, and it will finish in 3 days or 1
3
week.
days.
And this is not.
And they will blame it on you that you are using a graphic or picture or video. Again, let me hint on one thing that Nigerians don't know now. We are rightly in a digital age. In a digital age where, and the time flies, where you and I have gadgets we are using as palm top, laptops, iPhones, iPad, and so on, Android, and so on and so forth, Blackberries. I may not want to sit in my house before I should get a national news break. I just have to have my gadget like this, and what is going on now, I should know on a go, because this is an IT world, information technology world, where communication should be accessed from any part of the world, even if it is at the rural areas. That is not being provided by our network providers. Now, digitalization, Nigerians themselves, the users, don't even know that they have a right. And if we have a commission like the NCC, who is already coming out now to help us, I would really like to thank them. But they have to do more and ensure that this is not the usual politics.
Yeah, but this policy, this idea wasn't from the NCC. It was from the Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, Issa Patami.
It's a parastatal that regulates everything. Now, that is the Nigerian Communication Commission. Mm-hmm. Now, what I'm trying to say that the era has gone where people want to oppress users of digital age users of data. Even MTN, DSTV, GoTV, StarTime, Nikon Sat1, all of them have to be brought under this commission and stringent guidelines be given to them. You can't subscribe DSTV even if you pay 2 months and they give you 2-3 days off free of charge. They won't give you. You have DSTV now on your phone. DSTV Now is an app where you carry on your phone to watch DSTV anywhere you go. If your credit card that is installed in your decoder at home goes off for 2 months, you still have data here where you could manage the DSTV Now and enjoy yourself. They will just strip you off. It is not done anywhere. I have my data here. My data can help me to stream DSTV, though the credit card in the card subscription is gone, but I still have subscription via data in my phone.
What the DSTV Now do? Is it different from what we have with Netflix or Showmax?
Exactly.
Or Roku TV?
Exactly.
Because those ones too, you pay for subscription and then you still stream with
you
your
still
data.
stream with your data.
Yeah.
Now, DSTV, their monopoly is the fact that they will give you, once your subscription goes off, some days, they just trick you off. When you still have subscription of your data and you can
the subscription
access
of your data and the subscription of your cable
your
TV,
card.
are they aligned? Are they?
Yeah.
Do they have anything in common?
They are synonyms. They are the same thing because all have to be subscription.
Because what I know is that you can have subscription on your Netflix, and if your subscription on Netflix expires, you can't stream even if you have the data
on your phone.
Yes.
Well, in DSTV you can stream. You can stream. You know, like I said, I don't need to sit in my house before I watch television. This is a digital station, one of the best digital stations so far in Nigeria, if not in Africa. TVN. Now, people are watching us right now. I must not even be in the room to tune DSTV or StarTime or Night Concert or whatever, even though we are on satellite, to watch us as we are discussing live now. That is the essence. So should we go and now stop people and say, because they are not subscribing to our station from this thing, they should not watch us? It is illegal. It is bad. It is worrisome. So I praise the NCC.
Your point. But then let's look at Silvanus. Now, apart from the fact that the high cost of data is also a major concern, now the NCC is trying to step in now on the orders of the Honorable Minister. We hope to see this be implemented very time soon. What other aspects of this provision of service by telecom service that you think?
I think even the recharge card doesn't last. You buy 100 naira card, you can't even call 2 persons with it, 2 or 3 persons. And before, you know that it was just recently that even if your subscription gets elapsed, you can roll it over if you subscribe again. Before, it would just go like that, whether it's remaining or not. So this is how they strip us of our rights as consumers. But we thank God that this new Minister of Communication, Issa Pantami, is alive to his responsibility.
I think so.
And is out to ensure that Nigerians are no longer cheated by this network provider.
What about the porous network? The network issues. You buy a card now, you want to make call, you'll be hearing overhaul behind your call.
You cannot even solve
You are talking, you are hearing yourself. Network problem every now and then. I think all those things need to stop.
Yeah, I think for the want of time, we quickly move on. And then the reps are raising an alarm over an impending Ebola outbreak. They believe that there's going to be an Ebola, and then the federal government needs to take urgent measures, stringent measures that are going to be preventive in case of this outbreak. Do you think that there's going to be any outbreak of Ebola crisis in Nigeria?
We might not know. For the House of Reps, for a hallowed chambers, an institution of repute like the House of Reps, to come out and aver that there might be an outbreak of Ebola virus, I think it should be taken seriously.
But during their call for this, they didn't give any particular reasons why, aside alluding to the fact that sometime in April or thereabout, case of Ebola outbreak in Congo, and then
a journalist was killed. Let me come in here. A journalist that have been investigating Ebola case in Democratic Republic of Congo was killed. Before now, I have forgotten his name. I read it yesterday and the day before yesterday, but on the course of the work I was doing, the name escaped my mind. But let me tell you, that guy substantiated that Ebola was a chemical weapon unleashed on Africa, on Africans entirely. You understand? And I believe him to some extent. the rate at which Ebola, as an epidemic came and was unleashed at us, you could not shake somebody's hand. A biological and contagious disease where you just shake hand and somebody else is infected should be very, very suspicious. You understand? Even HIV wasn't doing like this, even though we also allowed HIV to be a biological weapon unleashed on the world. You understand? So if the man have released 1, 2, 3 articles against those who created the virus, the Ebola virus, and he was traced and killed, it shows that there are elements or iota of truth about the disease called Ebola, and it could possibly come to Nigeria. Don't forget that a nurse, a medical nurse or a medical doctor was Adedevo that defended the country with her life when a Liberian brought that Ebola stuff to the country.
The rep has also called for the federal government to immortalize her.
Yes, they have to.
What the reps said should be taken seriously, and leave should be borrowed from Christian Chukwu, the then health minister, whom ensured that Ebola virus was contained.
Yes.
I think him and his team, they should be consulted or invited in to provide solution to this.
Exactly.
Impending.
Because.
So thank you, gentlemen, for your time today on Press Talk. Unfortunately, we've run out of time and we'll be heading straight out of the studio. And this brings us sadly to the end of Press Talk. But we'll be here again tomorrow to do this again. And hopefully you'll be around to join us. And from me, Victor Tsehemba, I say have a wonderful day.